mentioned yesterday was interesting to me. Like, I mean, also some of the people when they're in Punjab, they're this ultra uber masculine person, and the same person goes abroad and he has to kind of demasculinize himself in some way. You talked to
Radhika Chopra, who's a sociologist at Delhi University, she calls it muted masculinities, right? And in fact, Gurkirpal is one example of that. He's now living in somewhere outside of Calgary in Canada, a place that I had never heard of before.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, Canada. I mean, it was just amazing that he's made this migration, and he and yes, of course, you know, when he comes back to Punjab, he puts the turban back on, and I've literally seen Punjabi men get on the plane with the turban on to come back home. And when he leaves, he takes the turban off. So turban always becomes this like symbol of flexible citizenship that can come on and off at any time because he's cut his hair. You know, so he really can do everything. And what's interesting is that when he's back in Punjab, when he rides his motorcycle or moves about, he always has a turban on because he knows that the turban is imbued with these macho and masculine ideas, and that gives him power, a sort of caste privilege and a gender privilege. The same turban would mark him as a terrorist, you know, in Canada or in US, right? Not the kind of Palestinian terrorists, but the Al-Qaeda terrorists. Very strong educational background. They're doing working class jobs, and these are sons of landed families. So they refuse to do the same jobs here.
Yeah, so actually I want to ask you, this is something which, you know, I am very confused. You know, like, most of us, like, you know, the younger people, we are supposed to, you know, continue. Like, continuity is very important, right? I mean, of tradition. So that whole turban tying ritual, you know, like that movement which was started, basically because you're just so scared that, you know, you're going to lose continuity. So what do you think of?
I don't think people are that sort of, and I'll just sort of answer very briefly. I don't think that they are that attached to the rhetoric that they produce. You know, there can be continuity as long as they keep their turban, even if they cut their hair. So young people are actually quite entrepreneurial in that way, that we sort of figure out, you know, that ghar pe kya karna hai, bahar kya karna hai, and you do those things. You play those sort of games, and that is expected of you in a transnational world where you have to move about in different, not just about religion and religious identity, that's also about gender and sexuality. And you begin to sort of flex to the degree that you can, the symbols that you put on your body to be able to kind of, you know, make do with what you got. So,
the putting on and off of the turban according to your own convenience, and the gay married man saying, I need to do this in order to be not only socially acceptable, and now I cannot get out of the marriage in order for my wife to be safe and socially acceptable. Isn't this all about identity and coming out? And in your own head, how does that, is that the reason why the turban film fell between the coming out and the Mardistaan film?
The interesting thing is Gurkirpal has also come out as gay since he's cut his hair and he's moved to Canada. So there's interesting sort of changes that has happened in his life. But I certainly think that there's a very important parallel between cutting hair and sort of putting on the turban and then coming out and then sort of going back into the closet when you're right on in the sense that that parallel is there. It was very intentional. You know, I look at everything from like a queer perspective. I'm sort of trained in that way. I cannot not find queer stuff. So I have to queer, you know, Roots of Love, even just if it's not about sexuality, it has to have some sort of element of that. And I think, but you're right, yeah, there are parallels.